Good set of first targets by Essie. This is the hardest part of the run. Oh. Runs over, he missed the target. Alright, good targets by Icefire. Not much to say about Fergate because you've probably heard a lot about it already. It's just basic movement to get to the end faster. For some reason, if you back up into the door when you scan that thing for the elevator, it skips the cutscene. It wastes in-game time, but it saves RTA. Looks like Gus is opting out of the bomb jump. Oh, Icefire screwed it up a little bit. So the cycle for Parasite Queen with the rotating cylinder thing, it's always on the same cycle, so it doesn't really matter how you move into the room. But the earlier you can enter the cutscene, the more in-game time you save, because you can let it play out longer to get to the correct cycle. But it doesn't matter for RTA. And if you shoot 8 missiles in a Parasite Queen's mouth, she dies because she's weaker in her mouth than the rest of her body.
Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately.
Alright, looks like this is doing the inbounds escape method. And Icefire is doing the out-of-bounds method. The out-of-bounds method saves around 40 to 50 seconds of in-game time if done well, but it saves about a minute and a half of RTA, so he's going to save a lot of time over SC here. This wall crawl can be pretty tricky. Transitioning to other rooms can be pretty annoying because of how the collision is and due to the fact you don't have space jump. Space jump wall, or no space jump wall crawls aren't that fun to do. And usually they're pretty difficult. So since Icefire did the wall crawl, he's going to skip losing his items at the very start. But the game actually has 2 item loss checks. There's one on the frigate, which SC is activating right now. And then there's one right as the cutscene starts, you're landing on town 4, so there's no way to avoid losing your items currently. It would save quite a bit of time if you could skip the item loss, but it wouldn't be it wouldn't be as significant as it is in Prime 2. Ooh, I sort of fell down. Alright, so you're not supposed to get Space Jump yet. This is supposed to be the item you get after Boost Ball. And then you have to go all the way back for Wave Theme, but this skips that entire backtrack and it breaks the early game pretty heavily. So with dashing, there is no sideways speed cap on this game. So if you can be moving towards the side, there's no limit to how fast you go. So when you strafe, which is an intended combat mechanic, and you release L, you can maintain all the speed you had, and it makes you go super fast and super far. And that can be used for not only speed, but to break things like SJF, like they both did. You're also not supposed to be able to get this energy tank from out here, even with Space Jump. You're supposed to go through Volt after beating Flogger, but you can just jump up there with the simple L jump. With L jumps, or jumps in general, I should say, there's a 13 frame startup where you lose speed. But if you hold L, your speed is locked to a certain value. And if you release L after those 13 frames, you can speed up mid-jump. So you just hold L for 13 frames and release. You can go further. So you can just dash over this beetle fight trigger. Oh, interesting about Rune Fountain. When you enter Rune Fountain, all the rooms start loading, and the room Icefire entered before you paused, that room is loaded, but the door doesn't open until all the other rooms are loaded. So pausing just eliminates that for whatever reason. So any missile expansion will work as a missile launcher, because missile launcher is just a fancy missile expansion of the cutscene. Charge Beam is a very nice item. It saves a lot of time and it makes fights way easier. You don't need it, but the detour to come get Charge Beam is so worth it. It saves so much time. So this boss is completely random. There's 4 times you have to shoot his eye, but how long it takes for his eye to pop up is completely random. You can lose up to 35 seconds in this fight. You can't use any beam combo without charge beam, but you don't need super missiles to beat the game. Well, in a broken route that is. In a casual playthrough you do need super missiles. You skip super missiles in this route though, it's just charge beam saves so much time on Omega Pirate and the final bosses. Also other various places, but those are the huge ones. So you can just stand on the lip of the drone. It technically doesn't save any time, but since you're human and you have to react to it, your shot will hit the eye faster. And they use charge beam instead of missiles because it hits the target sooner. But if they're busy killing the wasps, they'll use a missile and my dogs are so loud. Oh, interesting. Icefire is doing the RTA route. So you're going to be seeing 2 different routes in this race. It's pretty interesting. So I assume Essie's is going to go straight to Flagra, and Icefire is going to go get Ice Beam right now. So he's actually doing IBBF, this is not AF. So Icefire's getting Ice Beam right now, and Essie's heading over to Flagra, I think. SC will be doing this trick after Flagra, though. But the fastest route for RTA gets Ice Beam actually before Flagra. This route is slower in-game time because there's less elevators, so that means you spend more time playing as Samus. But it saves RTA. I think it saves, I don't know, like maybe 40 or 50 seconds of RTA. Alright, so it's gonna be hard to keep up with both of them since they're both doing completely different routes. So since Icefire got Ice Beam before Flagra, he has to kill the ghost here, but since SC's going to do it after Flagra, he'll have a chance to skip it. Because you can't leave this room without beating this guy. So as he's fighting Flagra, well, Icefire's backtracking back, I will explain Flagra. So the bomb slots for Flagra aren't actual bomb slots, they're just damage triggers. You don't need to actually be in the bomb slot, you just have to place the bomb near it. But with every other bomb slot, you have to be inside of it. If you couldn't bomb the sides like Essie's doing right now, you would have to knock down all the lights and do it normally. So it's pretty fortunate that you can do this. Okay, and Icefire's on his way to Flogger now. Ooh, Arboretum's different, that's right. So, when SC was doing Arboretum, I think he jumped on the Warwasp Hive to get to the gate, but when you get Ice Beam and, well, it's not getting Ice Beam, it's beating the Hall of the Elders, chose a Ghost. When you beat that Ghost, it makes other ghosts spawn in other places, and Arboretum's one of them, so he can't do the Hive jump here on this layer. So he's gonna do a BSJ instead. It's about 2 seconds slower than the Hive jump, but since he doesn't have the Hive, he has to do it. Well, you don't have to do it, but it's just faster than going around. And with BSJs, you have 21 frames when you unmorph to jump out of it, but you have to get an instant unmorph too. And Icefire may look like he's behind right now, but he has Ice Beam, and SC doesn't. For those just tuning in. SC's about to do a trick called Early Wild. When you get stuck on this corner, you fall down really slowly, and you can abuse that fall to infinitely bomb jump back up, because it just works out that the timing for it works out with the bomb refill timer. And this saves a bunch of time. If you fail this trick, you lose 8 minutes. And the trigger for the ghost fight in this layer is partway down the tower, so you just have to go down and touch it. But if you just jump down, it's too low for you to jump back up. When you're fighting Jozo Ghosts and you shoot a charge shot at them right as they dash away, you can get them into a stun lock. Which makes the fight way more consistent. If you kill a Chozo Ghost during their fallback animation, there's a glitch that can happen where they just stand there and they don't die for like 15 seconds. It doesn't matter if it's the first or second one really, but if it's the last one, it loses so much time. Alright, SC's on his way to Magmore and Icefire's gonna do really wild now. So right now the routes are the same up until Wave Beam, but Icefire is still behind because he got Ice Beam, but the routes will diverge after Wave Beam again. But right now they're basically doing the same route. Very good, Icefire got really wild. Not much to talk about. SD's going to Fendrana to pick up Boost Ball and Wave Beam. Boost Ball is a very important item. It's not only important for doing things, it's also important for speed. It's the fastest form of movement in the game. But it's only faster than dashing if you don't have to morph and remorph. Or morph and unmorph, I should say. So Icefire is gonna head to Fendrana too. The routes meet up when... Actually, they won't meet up until they both get to the ship at the end, because there's more variants. So they're not gonna be converged until the end, basically. I mean, it has the same general flow, but since after mines there's a few different artifacts that you have to get, like there's a different order, it's gonna meet up at the ship before Ridley. So the interesting thing about Boots Ball is that when you're holding the stick, you can only go a certain amount of speed. But when you're not holding the stick when you're boosting, you can go like even faster. Because when you're holding the stick, I guess the reason why is because when you're holding the stick, it tries to get you to a certain speed, but when you're not holding the stick, it doesn't, so you can just go really fast. I don't think there's a speed cap for Boost Ball when you're not holding the stick. So Essie's going out of bounds to collect the wave beam and the artifact of Sun at the same time. And he has to go out of bounds to do this because he needs to get Chozo Ice Temple. He needs to be in Chozo Ice Temple while the room's on the wrong map. Because when the room's on the wrong map, the collision's very weird. And the room needs to be on the wrong map because Essie needs to get stuck on a wall. So this glitch is pretty complicated, but the basics of it is that if you are stuck in a certain spot and you're holding the stick to rotate his morph ball, after a certain amount of time, it's about 50 seconds, you will be going so fast that things just get crazy, and when you boost, you touch almost every loaded object in the room. It seems to be inconsistent with what it picks up, but fortunately, you can pick up Wave Beam and the artifacts at the same time with it. What? Okay, that was weird. I don't know why that was screwing up for Essie, but at least it worked. So, when you start the Sheegoth fight, the door locks, but since you get Wave Beam after the cutscene starts for the Sheegoth fight, the door unlocks so you can get out without fighting the Sheegoth. And there's 2 Samuses because of that. Alright, so Essie's going to go back to Chozo Ruins. And Essie's going to now go pick up Ice Beam, another artifact, and he's going to pick up a Power Bomb expansion, as well as X-Ray Visor. But Icefire, since he has Ice Beam already, he's going to go straight to Plasma Beam after Wave Beam. Alright, so now the routes are going to diverge again, since they both have Wave Beam now. I had to get my dogs to be quiet, but yeah. So SC's is on his way to Ice Beam now, and Icefire's gonna go get Plasma Beam. My dogs like to bark when they see people outside. But anyway. And after Plasma Beam, Icefire's gonna go to Fendrana and clean Fendrana up. And since he doesn't have X-Ray right now, he can't go to Phazon Mines from the back. So he's gonna have to backtrack back to Town Overworld. So Icefire doesn't have to do infinite speed again, but SC has to do it to get this power bomb. So I don't have anything to say for SC since he's just doing infinite speed again, but Icefire's gonna actually be doing stuff now in Vendrana. Alright, Icefire's on his way to Fendrana's Edge to get the Artifact of Spirit. Ooh, that was bad. And SC needs to go cancel Infinite Speed. Well, it's more so that he needs to cancel Light Show. He's going to cancel Infinite Speed at this fountain by unmorphing and remorphing in an area that forces the camera to change. But it doesn't get rid of Light Show, so if he unmorphs again, he's screwed. So he needs to go to a safe station or an elevator to cancel Light Show, and he's heading to an elevator right now to cancel it. And since Icefire didn't get the Magma Bolt Power Bomb, he had to get this one here in Fendrana's Edge. And he can enter Phazon Mines from the back right now, but he doesn't have X-Ray Visor, so he can't. Well, he can, but it's just not faster. And now SC's doing the trick. Icefire did it at the start of the run to get Ice Beam, but he's doing it after Flagra. And since SC has Power Bombs already, he can go pick up X-Ray right after Ice Beam. Oh, Edward didn't break the glass. There's a space part in that room that's supposed to break the glass, and since he's entering the room from the wrong side, he has to be careful so his AI doesn't get screwed up. So he has to move in a specific way to get him to break the glass. Twice in a row, that's very unlucky. Didn't even go for the Varela box. And he's getting the energy tank of shame. So now S is going to go get X-Ray, and then he's going to go get Plasma Beam. And since he has X-Ray already and Power Bombs, he can enter Phase Mines from the back, but Icefire doesn't have X-Ray, so he has to go back and get it after Vendrana. And you don't have to worry about a Power Bomb drop in this route for Icefire, but SC still has to worry about one. Because Icefire is going to the ship. He's heading back to the ship now. And he's gonna get Power Bomb refill. The routes don't converge until they get to the ship before Ridley, because since this is the RTA route, Icefire is probably going to be getting Life Giver after Mines. Like, he's going to backtrack all the way down to Chosen Ruins instead of using the elevator from Town Overworld. The really unfortunate part about the route Icefire is doing, if you're doing it for in-game time, because this used to be the old route, you would have to make a really dumb detour after Fendrana to go back to Chozo Ruins, get Life Giver, and then come back to the ship. It was like the worst part of the route. But since it's the RTA route, he's going to be getting an after World, which he's doing after Mines. Alright, SC is going to head to Magmore to get Plasma Beam, and then he's going to clean up Fendrana, and Icefire's heading back to Town Overworld to get X-Ray Visor, and then he's going to enter Phase on Mines from the front, and SC is going to enter it from the back. It's really interesting that they're both doing completely different routes. One's for RTA, one's for in-game time. So, since Icefire just has to go to X-Ray, and he doesn't have to go to Chozo immediately, he's going to go to Frigate Crosslight, which is the room SC was just in, and he's going to climb Frigate Crosslight from reverse, which you're not supposed to be able to do, in order to get to the back of Chozo, where Ice Beam is. So you can see them like taking reverse routes right here. Like SC's gonna go where he came out, and Icefire's going where he came out. SC's gonna get Plasma and finish up Fendrana, and then Icefire's gonna get X-Ray and go to Mines. So since SC is entering Phase on Mines from the back, and he has Power Bombs already, he has one Power Bomb to get Spirit, and then he needs a drop to get the Phase on Mines. So he needs to rely on a Power Bomb drop if he doesn't go for the Power Bomb expansion. Hi, Moose. Alright, so Icefire has to do a trick that Essie doesn't have to do now, and it's kind of annoying. Icefire's gonna have to bomb jump over some bars to access phase on mines from the front. Because you're not supposed to be able to get the phase on mines from the side without going through crash target, but you can bomb jump over the bars and it's kind of precise and it's kind of annoying. You can see if this bomb jump is stupid, but he got it within 3 tries, so that's pretty good. Alright. Icefire is going to mines, SC will be entering it from the back, and they won't be meeting up until Redley. So Icefire is going to have to go through a few rooms in mines that SC won't have to go through. You're not supposed to be able to get to waste disposal without grapple beam or without killing the wave pirates down there. But you can make it over there with a scan dash. And this jump Icefire's doing is pretty annoying too. There's a lot of annoying things with this route. And Icefire will be able to get a missile that SC technically can get, but it's just slower. But it's faster for Icefire to get it because he has to wait for a room to load anyway. But since S is going to be going through that room backwards without going through it forwards, he won't have the chance to grab it. This missile expansion right here, it costs no time to get because you have to wait for the next room to load anyway. Also, you don't have to fight this guy. You can just jump on top of him. Alright, so this drone fight, you're not supposed to have X-ray. Icefire's about to do it. You're not supposed to have X-ray for this fight, but you can walk onto it with X-ray. And this powerbomb maze is random. There's 300 different possible mazes, and they're all odd numbers in length, ranging between 15 to 55. 53 is a maze that doesn't exist though. 15 is obviously the fastest, and 55 is the slowest, and there's only one 55 square maze. And since Varrox and Get Up Maze Finder, he's fired again. Yeah, so you got a powerbomb drop, that's good. So, Icefire had power bombs, but you still need to collect the main powerbomb upgrade, not only to advance to MQA, but also because you cannot get the Artifact of Warrior without collecting main power bombs. Because, that's what I'm saying, Elite Control, the phase on Elite, the glass where it breaking is on a different room layer, and collecting main power bombs changes the room to that layer. So you can't break the glass unless your room's on that layer. I don't know why they would check for that, because you're not supposed to have power bombs at that point, but it's just interesting to know. There's something similar in Echoes too, because there's an ink cache that doesn't exist until you get the main power bomb upgrade, because the room layer changes when you get it. Icefire is going to freeze this Metroid so he can dash across. It's a little bit faster than taking the platforms. So since SC already has everything he needs, he's going to go to phase on much from the back, instead of going through it from the front. This is probably the most interesting race I've watched, actually, it's because they're two different routes. It's like easy to talk about something. You got Icefire got bopped by the Hunter Metroid. Hunter Metroids are the worst enemy in the game, objectively. If you say they aren't, you are wrong. Or SC's entering phase on mines. Alright, so with Omega part and Elite parts in general, if you start the fight while you're at the side, either left or right, doesn't matter, they will constantly be trying to turn to face you. And if you keep strafing around them, they will never actually face you. So you can keep doing that to not let them do their attacks, so you can just kill them faster. But with a Mega Part, you have to skip the cutscene and be at the side. If you let the cutscene play out, it won't work. So you have to do that. Alright, so Icefire's laying a power bomb here. It skips the animation of him disappearing if done at the right time. And if you do it soon enough, you can actually skip Omega Part summoning the troopers down. The main time save is just skipping the animation, but skipping the troopers is a plus. And with Omega Pirate, he always spawns in the pool furthest away from you, but he never spawns in the same pool twice in a row. So you can always know where he's going to be. And the way Icefire's doing his damage, if you do a fully charged plasma shot and you hit him with anything else, it will end the phase. So he shoots his uncharged plasma away so he can get another fully charged shot in, and he does that twice. And then he finishes him off with a power bomb, so that's a little bit faster. And you can hit him with power bombs because as long as you have X-ray visor on, anything will damage him. Even trooper shots will damage him. And that's why X-ray visor is required to beat the game, because you can't damage a Omega Pirate without it. Okay, looks like Alex is fired because he's not using Mace Finder. Icefire is getting newborn right now. You can get this early with an out of bounds, but it's really risky to do in a race, and it's also really difficult to do. It saves about 30 seconds if done well. And Icefire's wearing thermal visor because it lets him see better because the room's really dark. So Icefire's gonna head back up to Upper Mines because he needs to get an artifact that he wasn't able to get earlier because he needs main power bombs to get it. And he's gonna have to climb some of the spider shafts without Spider Ball because he skipped it. And the shafts can be pretty annoying. And right now, I assume he's trying to get a power bomb drop because you need at least 2 for Upper Mines. SC's only going to need 1 because since he entered from the back from Phazon Processing Center, he already blew up the rock in whatever the room's name is, the one with the pirate that he jumped on. I forget that room's name. It's Elite something. But Icefire needs the extra power bomb to blow up that rubble. Ooh, Icefire failed Elite Skip. Failing Elite Skip isn't that bad, it's just you lose a lot of your missiles. And for the Phazon Elite, for Warrior, you need at least 24 missiles, and since he doesn't have an extra power bomb, he's gonna have to switch to Plasma Beam for the rest. It's also important to note that both of these runners are not using helmet opacity. Oh, okay, he's getting missiles like with bombs. It's also important to note that the runners aren't using helmet opacity because it looks better. So if you're running Metroid Prime, turn it off because it looks better. Alright, here's the first spider shaft. He has to kill the bomb boost, otherwise he can't climb it without getting knocked off. And this is actually barely possible because the lip you stand on these pillars, they barely extend out far enough for you to be able to jump on it. And for some reason, when you jump at the spider track at a certain angle, you just get stuck on it, and you can just wiggle until you land on something. Icefire's having a little bit of a rough time here. Alright. And with the second shaft, even though it's like the same exact room, the thing he's jumping to right now you can't stand on in the first shaft, which is why he had to BSJ. But since he can stand on it, you can just jump up and jump to this rock, and then jump to the door. And since he entered this room from the wrong side, he has to boost through the wall. And since collision is weird from the other side, you can just get stuck and infinitely boost until you go through. Alright, so now Icefire's gonna climb ore processing without the spider ball. And that's he's gonna be heading up to Upper Mines doing the same stuff. And then Icefire's gonna head back to Shows of Ruins to get 2 more artifacts. As he already has one of the artifacts he doesn't, which is Life Giver. And you would have it at this point in the in-game time route for the route Icefire's doing, because it used to be the old route. But since he's doing the RTA route, he's getting it last, because it skips 2 elevators. And since Icefire did IBBF, he doesn't have to worry about skipping the Ghost and Hall of the Elders, because he had to fight it to get out. This room can be kind of annoying. It's really weird not seeing the mine entrance cutscene there. As he's coming up to the first spider shafts. And again, since Icefire fought the ghost here already, he doesn't have to worry about skipping it. And this is a route that you don't normally see after this artifact. Because typically, after this artifact, you go back up to Reflecting Pool and exit through Frigate Crash Site. But he's gonna backtrack all the way back to Main Plaza so he can get Life Giver. It saves about 30 seconds of real time, I believe. Our web timed this to get Life Giver after Worlds RTA, but it's slower in game time. I didn't mention this when SC was here, but when you're underwater and you jump against the slope, you get insane amount of height when you don't have gravity suit. For whatever reason. But once you have gravity suit, you can't go as high. It's pretty silly that that's the case. Oh, I still got the hole in one. That's more important than I was about to say. I forgot what I was going to say anyway. Oh, I know what I was going to say. It's pretty silly to think that you can go higher in water without gravity suit. No, Jack is faster RTA to get Life Giver after World. And Icefire's in the lead right now, because he's about to go fight Ridley. Alright, so Essie's going to, after he's done with mines, he's gonna head back to Chozo as well. But he already has a life giver, so he only needs to get worlds. And he's gonna leave through Reflecting Pool and go back through Frigate Crash to get to the ship. So Ridley is stupid. For some reason, they didn't check if he was immune to Boost Ball. And Boost Ball does 50,000 damage per frame, and Ridley's Flying Fades isn't immune to it. So if you boost into Ridley, it does over half of his health, and it saves a lot of time. And I'm not exaggerating when I say 50,000, it actually is 50,000 damage per frame. And if you hit, or if you stun Ridley on a certain frame window near the end or the start of his attack, if you hit him at a certain time, Ridley will be invincible because he's an idiot. I think a fully charged power beam shot is 50, I want to say, or is it 25? It's either 25 or 50. I know charged ice does 90. And I think wave beam is slightly weaker than power. I don't know the exact damage values though. I'm not sure how much health Ridley actually has. I think charged plasma is about 110. I'm not sure though. Alright, so Exo, on the first subchamber, he has either power or wave, any order, doesn't matter what he starts with first, really. On the second subchamber, he has power, wave, and ice. And the most optimal pattern is either power, ice, wave. You can switch wave or ice, doesn't matter. Or ice is first, and then the other two. Just as long as ice is first or ice is in the middle, it doesn't matter. And on the second subchamber, you either want plasma, power, ice, wave. You can change. I can't talk. It doesn't matter if it's ice or plasma, just as long as it's in that kind of order. Like you want plasma and ice first and third, power and wave second and fourth. And on fourth subchamber, it's completely random what color she is, and she can change between what color she wants. Now, in subchamber 4, the most optimal pattern is plasma, ice, And if you get power wave, you lose like 20-30 seconds. That's a lot of time. iOS doesn't have a 50% chance of crashing the game. It has a 50% chance of working or not. Because the frame iOS works on alternates every other frame because of your speed and infinite speed. If it crashes, that's your fault because it's the camera positioning. Like, you want to get the camera to face away from the hallway. And Icefire is getting close to Exo because he wants to force Exo to do the swing. And when he does a swing, he won't do any other attack, and he's forced to do the swing if you're close enough to him. So you can make it easier to hit. And it's especially important on Subchamber 4 because he can switch colors whenever he wants. So if you keep making him do that, it will be less likely that he switches. He can still switch, but it's like way less likely. Oh, and when you end the phase, or quote end the phase, you have 2 chances to get 2 more charge shots in, when he's dashing and when he's turning around. And it's especially important that you get both when you have Plasma or Ice, because Ice and Plasma do the most damage to him. Like, for reference, for Power and Wave, it takes 5 fully charged charge shots to end the phase. With Ice Beam, it takes 2 fully charged and 2 uncharged, and with Plasma Beam, it's 2 fully charged and a few uncharged. I think it's like 2 or 3 uncharged. So it's really important that you get both. Alright, so the last phase of the fight, Essence, it's dumb. So, she can lay a bull in 6 different spots at the start of the fight if you stand still. And each pull will last for 25 seconds once it's laid. And you can step in and out of it during that time to get as much damage in as you can. Because when you step out of the pool doesn't drain. There's also a strat, which I think Icefire is doing, where you do 3 pull attack cancel. Because after a certain amount of attacks Essence does, she will be forced to lay a pull. So if he keeps canceling the attacks, Essence will be forced to lay another pull. However, if Essence is too close to the body, she will not lay a pull. If she's too close to the exoskeleton, she just skips the pull. So it's really important that you keep her away from the body. Like that. She was too close to the body, so she skipped the pool. Alright, Icefire's done. It's pretty interesting to see that they both take completely different routes. And Essie's gonna be finishing up soon too. Let's see what RNG he gets. I've never seen anyone stand on this to hit EXO. This probably makes it harder. Alright, that's good RNG for subchamber 3. Or 2, I mean, bed. But he missed both ice snipes, so it didn't matter. Alright, what's Icefire's in game time? 104. Starting with Power Wave on subchamber 3 is really bad, because it's 3 extra charge shots you have to do. Alright. This is looking like a decent start to Subchamber 4. Oh, that sucks. He switched right to Plasma and he switched right to Wave. That's so annoying. Alright, not the worst Subchamber 4. Got decent RNG. Let's see how Essence treats Essie. This looks like a really bad spot for 3-pool, so I hope he goes with 2-pool. Yeah, he's going for 2-pool. Good. Another thing to mention about Essence, the closer you are to her, the more damage you do, because your phase on beam is like a shotgun. So it's really important to get up close for the final round of hits to do the most damage. Alright, good 2-pool. Congrats to Icefire for winning, and GG to both the runners. Alright, let's see what Essie's endgame time is. I'm going to guess maybe 10 or 112. No, the tourney races go by RTA. Based on what Essie just said, I'm going to assume 111. Shoutouts to Remy.